2 wins and a draw our last 3 league games. Does that mean we go into this match against Partick Thistle better prepared than the last 2 times we've played them?
I would say so. I think training's been good all week. We've prepared well. All the boys are back. Good numbers and stuff. So we're going into it confident.
The game at Capello was obviously we've come away with it probably disappointed not to win the game. But how happy were you at the fact that we were able to get a result and perform well?
I think the performance was a big thing. I think we matched them, the physical side and stuff. Obviously, after the game, all the boys were disappointed that we didn't come away with the 3 points, but it is what it is, and at least we take away a point.
We've got 2 games played against Thistle so far this season. Do you expect there to be much different from them, given that they've got rid of their manager during the week?
They might be up for it a wee bit more because they don't know who's coming in or whatever, but I expect them to come out the same lineup and that they normally do.
I suppose it's the same players, isn't it? It's the same personnel, so we know them as individuals and we know how good they can be as a team. Expect a tough game?
I think it'll be a really tough game, especially down there. But as I said, we're confident going into the game. Hopefully we can pick up 3 points.
We've got a real improvement in our performances, and that's led to an improvement in the results in the league. Are you expecting to be able to keep that going?
Yeah, 100%. I think we need to. I think every game that we go into is a cup final, so I think we need to keep this form and stuff up. As long as we work hard and battle and do the dirty side of it, I think we'll match them.
You've obviously touched on it already that it makes a difference having the bodies back, but how much of an impact does that make for you guys? Because you can play some of a game without having to necessarily play every game all the time. Are you feeling the difference?
It's massive, even training. Like, I think the first couple of months we were training with 10-11 bodies, which isn't ideal. So, and then there's competition for every position as well now, which is much better. So I think that's what you're seeing, a boost in our performance.
We're looking at 13 games in the league season left, so as a target, pick up as many points as we can, as many wins as we can. What's your kind of thoughts ahead of the last run of games?
I think we just need to look at it 1 game at a time, 3 points every weekend. But I think if we just focus on the game that's coming up, do our job there, and then we'll move on and we'll focus and we don't want to look at the bigger picture too much, just focus on the short term goals.
Brilliant. Rhys, thank you very much. We'll see you Saturday.
Thank you.
Rhys, obviously a few days on now from the game against Morton. When you look back at it in context, good point?
No, listen, I still firmly believe that we were kind of deserved of the 3. But like I said, probably before the game and taking kind of their form and stuff into consideration, I think going there, without being disrespectful, it's probably the easiest game that we've had at Morton. At Capello, normally, they throw the kitchen sink at you and you really have to make sure that you defend really, really well, which I think in the game we limited them to very few. I think they only had 2 shots, or certainly 2 shots on target, which for them being the home side was probably testament to how well the boys kind of applied themselves and defended. But like we said, it's away from home, we gather a point, keeps that wee bit of momentum going, and obviously looking forward to Saturday.
And the kind of obvious, predictable thing for a supporter to do, and I was doing it, was looking at how one of the teams closer to us got on in the exact same fixture and they come away with a 2-0 defeat, in this case Hamilton. So I suppose you probably can't think too much about that because you've got your own games to think about, but it does perhaps give it a bit of context.
Possibly, but listen, I think even regardless of whether the teams round about us, I think you look at the teams that have went there, and not many teams go and get a result at Capello. It's notorious for their home form being really, really good. And like I say, I think that's a 9 or something game unbeaten run that they're on. So they were on a good run of form. They had players back as well, so we had kind of Morton at their full strength. And like I said, it's probably testament to the boys and how well we probably played and applied ourselves in the game that we're disappointed not to come away with 3. But that's football sometimes, and we keep kind of being positive with that message. We're on a decent wee run of form in the league, and it's about building that bit of momentum, trying to get a bit of consistency, and obviously a good chance to go and back that up on Saturday.
It's a strange industry you've got yourself involved in, Rhys, because that's Chris Doolan not going to be in charge at Thistle when we go there on Saturday. What kind of game are you expecting? Maybe hard to tell how they'll react to that.
It's never nice. Not that I'm sitting here 20 years on a job or anything like that, but I don't think it's nice given the fact that I know how much that we put in it on a daily basis. I'd imagine Dools and other managers will be the same, where it's your 24 hours a day, your days off are constantly thinking about training and how you can make the team better. So certainly feel for them in that kind of department, but looking forward to the game and looking ahead to the game. Obviously, kind of Brian Graham and Mark Wilson's kind of taking the team. Do they want to possibly put their own stamp and maybe their own twist and stuff on things? I don't know. It's a little bit of the unknown. One thing I do know is obviously that the run of form hasn't been great, so I'd expect, obviously Brian's obviously well respected and stuff there, that he'll probably look for that new manager kind of bounce, as they say, trying to get a reaction out of the players, because obviously they come off the back of a poor performance and soared one away to Rhys. So really important, like I said, that we know that we're going to Partick. I don't think we'll beat them there. So really important that we go and we try and build on the performances that we have done in recent weeks.
Yeah, I think it was 2009 the last time we got a victory over at Firhill. Not always in the same division, mind you, but it still shows you that it's never an easy place to go to. Like you said, we don't know exactly how they'll react or how they'll be different, if anything, but we do know their personnel. We know they've got good players, dangerous players, so we're going to have to be at our best to get a result.
Regardless, I think you can look at form, but table doesn't lie where they are. They're still, I think, fourth, which, as you say, they've got good individuals, they've got a good experience and a good kind of spine experience that have been there, done it. And it's important, like you say, they'll probably lean on those experiences, I'd imagine. They're at home, so they'll be looking for some kind of reaction. Obviously it's never nice, and all the kind of external noise with supporters and kind of backlash of duels obviously kind of leaving the post is never nice to see. But at the same time, Brian will be going in there with one thing in his mind, and that's to set up a team to try and get a result against us on Saturday, and we'll make sure that doesn't happen. The
match at Capello perhaps played on a heavy pitch. It certainly looked heavy from where we were sitting. How's everybody recovered from it since then?
Aye, no, all good. Probably luxury of having 5 subs and being able to make 5 subs. I think the likes of Mason Hancock, who I think got through kind of 60, 70, you could see him just starting to kind of tire up. Important then we got Lewis Strap on, keep that freshness and that energy, which was telling in the game. I think our energy levels and intensity and enthusiasm that we played at was probably too much for Morton, if I'm honest. And it's going to be the same from now to the end of the season. We're getting bodies back fit, and it's about using the squad, being able to bring personnel on at certain points of the game to inject that wee bit of tempo and maybe energy. And the boys that are starting and maybe given 60, 70, 80 minutes, whatever it is, they've got to hit red line and go to their maximum, and if they do that, we'll be alright.
It's a kind of conversation we've had before, I know, and it's not something you've ever tried to use as an excuse during the kind of harder spell, but it does make a massive difference having a full squad, options on the bench, and players that you know can come on and make an impact at certain points in the game, doesn't it?
Of course it does. I think results in their form in the last few weeks, well, we've had that, I would suggest that, it's not rocket science. I think kind of confidence plays a huge factor as well, and I think for large parts of the season there, going back probably 10 weeks ago, we were Tuesday, Saturday, and then Saturday with arguably kind of 12 bodies, and you're asking guys who are maybe not at 100% fit, who are maybe needing a rest, like I've just spoke about, maybe at 60 minutes, being able to come off and inject that little bit of freshness, and we never had that. But again, that's kind of testament to the boys and how well they've reacted, and again, they're going to face these challenges in their career. I'm not the only manager who's had injuries. I think Morton had a big case of them last year. I think everybody's getting their fair share of them now, which seems to be part of football, with probably the amount of games and kind of backlog of games, with games being called off at this period of the year. So it's really important, like I said, that we don't get sidetracked. We understand the circumstances, but now we're looking healthier. We've got different personnel, we're able to mix it and change in certain ways, and that's kind of on the boys now. It's about having that competition for places, and if boys are kind of pulling their weight or they're slightly dipped in form, then we've got good personnel that can come in and really challenge them, and that only drives the standards throughout the place.
The last time we were at Thistle, we beat 2-1, and it was a game that changed, or felt to me like it changed very much on the red card for Graz. So key then that if we are in a position that we don't shoot ourselves in the foot, albeit that was probably a harsh red card.
I know, I think if I'm honest, I think it lacked quality for both teams in the game. The sending off definitely changes the kind of reflection there. I don't think it was a red card. I remember watching it back and stuff, and I don't think he's went in with kind of intent and force, but very quickly to get sent off. And credit to the boys, they went for the large parts of kind of 45 to 60 minutes playing against a good team who were fully fit, healthy squad, and We obviously narrowly got beaten, but like I say, it's a different game now, new set of challenges and circumstances, and one that we're really looking forward to.
It's another game on the road, which is never easy, a kind of sequence of away games, but they did very, very well at Capello performance wise. Are you hoping for the same again?
Aye, just about building on that, and of course there's an element of frustration, but it's important that we don't let that frustration override and take control going into the game on Saturday. We want to harness and use the positive points and the positive elements of the game, which I think there were far more positives than negatives. Try and iron out the little mistakes and little things that we can do better, of course. Do that throughout the training week and go into that game Saturday, like I said, another tough game, fully expecting that. The boys are under no illusion, we're away from home, so we've got to make sure that we're at it. We do both sides of the game really well defensively, and we still look at that kind of attacking threat that we have done probably in the last month or so.
Rhys, brilliant, thank you very much.
Cheers.